All right, things I wish I would have known. You were listening to the right episode of the Loan Officer Leadership Podcast, powered by the Mortgage Marketing Animals. And this is part two of a conversation Carl and I are having about the things I wish I would have known. What a great conversation, Carl. Man,
This is some really empowering stuff that, there's always that thing that after you do something, you go, man,
I wish I would have known that.
I wish it's like going through a maze. You
Yeah.
spend you spend an hour trying to go through this maze. Whereas if now I know the way through it, damn, I wish I'd have known the way through it because it,
Yeah.
it took me 3 minutes to walk through it as opposed to an hour walking through, a glass house, or a mirror, house of mirrors or something like that. Anyway, bad analogy. All right, um, here's a part two. So just as a reminder, in part one, we talked about number one, I wish I would have known I don't have to know everything. Very
Yeah.
powerful. Number two, I'm not that important. In other words, there's other people in the business that can help me. Number three, not everybody's going to do business with me, and that's
Mhm.
okay, right? It's
Yeah.
okay. There's wealth in the small percentages.
Hmm.
And then number four is I wish I'd have known I can get more leads so then I can be more selective on who I work with. Right.
Those are
So
good
good
parts,
stuff.
man.
All
Wow.
right. So this one, our dear friend Kim Creighton. I love
Oh,
Kim.
yeah. Yeah.
I love
Love
Kim.
Kim. Yeah.
Kim's an awesome lady. So Kim said, and you teased it last on the last episode. I wish I'd have known that if I want to close more business, I simply have to make more offers. So
Mm.
talk about that, Steve.
Mm. Yeah, well, I mean, this is the most powerful, I think, of everything because if you make offers, we tend to think, I know I do personally, it's a thing I've had to work through is it's got to be perfect. I got to have it right. And I got to memorize the 14 scripts and make sure I got the process perfect. But in doing that, oftentimes we fail to sell or make offers because we're requiring it to be so perfect before we actually make an offer. And an offer, man, if you're not asking for the business, we're missing the opportunity because, Carl, we think, well, they know I'm a loan officer, they know what I do. Why would I have to make an offer and ask for the business? This is probably the most powerful lesson to be learned because if you make offers minus no's equals money, and that's the formula that you've given to this industry, how to become a millionaire, how to W2 $1 million is really by making more offers. Whoever makes more offers, not perfect offers, more offers, will get more no's, and you'll see yourself making more money because you've proven what it's about 16% of the people, the agents we go after and we pursue and we have conversations with, only a handful work with you, but it's those handful that you make a lot of money. So
So what do you mean by more offers? So give me some examples of that. If I make more
great.
offers,
Yeah.
uh, what is that?
Well, every time you say goodbye or you have a conversation, are you asking for the business? So that means being really intentional. So if I'm talking to a client, it would be at the end of every conversation. I'm using what we have. It's a 3x3. Can I count on you when you have a friend, family, coworker looking to buy, sell, or refinance? Can I count on you to give us their information? We'd love to help another great family. That's an offer. And what happens, Carl, is we'll make a call, our database calls on Wednesday, talk to the client, and then just say, all right, hey, well, listen, just appreciate you. Just keep in touch. And you're gone without actually asking for the business. Like for an agent, how many times have we had conversations with a realtor, even one of our partners, Carl, where it's like, hey, Frank, it's Steve. What's up, my man? You have your conversation. And at the end, it's like, all right, brother, hey, I'll talk to you later. Instead of saying, hey, make sure that, hey, Frank, who do you have today that I could help get pre-approved to make sure it's a good use of your time? The offer is, who do you have today? And you think, well, I've talked to him 4 times this week, but in failing to make an offer, we're assuming they're remembering to give us the next lead that they've got. And it's just this constant reminder of, hey, listen, every time I'm talking to a title agent, do you have an agent that's had a challenge on one of their closings that you feel like I could reach out to or might be a good fit? When I'm talking to an insurance agent, hey, listen, who do you have? You got any agents right now that are doing business that would be open to a conversation? Every conversation needs to be making offers, or what happens is we're having conversations with less results.
Hmm. So for talking with agents
Oh,
on
everybody.
any topic, our borrowers and co-borrowers, maybe the listing agent of a deal, make an
100%.
offer to meet. Maybe the offer is meeting with them, right? To see if
100%.
you can work together. Maybe at my credit union, I'm going to go cash my check. I ask my credit union, hey,
Oh,
do you
yeah.
guys do mortgages? Or we call the HR at the local hospital. We're doing the VOE that we ask if they could hook us up with the HR director, that maybe we could do see what we can do for referrals from the hospital of their
That's it.
new employees is coming into town. So just make more offers, even if they're not good offers. Just
They'll get
do it.
better.
They'll get
Yeah.
better.
Well, hey, you talk about it all the time. It's like if offers didn't matter, why does McDonald's advertise? Why is Apple still making offers every single day on the television? And I mean, you could list so many of these big organizations. If it wasn't required to make offers, they'd
Dude,
stop advertising.
I saw so as we're recording we're in January,
Yeah.
right? 2024. I saw an ad for the darn Tesla truck. Okay, now wait a minute. I've been on the waiting list for one of them things for
For a
literally 3.5 years,
and they're advertising it.
and they're advertising the darn things. They have literally 1 million people that has pre-ordered that thing. They
Wow.
think they're going to work through that million list for probably 2 to 3 years.
And they're still making
They're
offers.
still making offers, still making.
Mm, mm.
So I thought that was
That's such wise advice.
yeah. All right, next one. This came from Cherry Warwick, and Sherry says, "Boy, this was a good one."
Mm,
She said, "I wish I would have known that people will forgive me if I'm sincere.
that's
People will
powerful,
forgive
man.
me if I'm sincere." So what
Mm,
I got out of this one is, man, I've got a perfect example. I was late on a closing,
yeah.
and and the agent was, both agents were mad at me. If I remember right, the borrower was mad. Everybody's mad, and never called the agents again. Never called the borrower again.
Yeah,
Right?
this is a true story. So you're
True
teeing
story.
up a true story. It was a
True
terrible
story.
closing. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it was terrible, and I screwed up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was late because of me. It
Yeah.
wasn't the underwriter. It wasn't like, I don't remember the exact story, but I remember it was me. Like
Yeah.
I didn't know something and screwed up.
So,
Right,
yeah.
made a mistake, and everybody's mad. So and then the seller of the house that we were buying, they were late for their closing because of me, and then those agents, like I had people, it was bad. Anyway, so a year later or so, I've got a lady in my office calling, setting up coffee appointments with me for real estate agents, and I just give her, hey, just go on our system,
Yeah.
find out who the agents are that are qualified, closing 8 buyer sides or more in the last 12 months, and setting up coffee appointments. She goes, sure. So she's setting up coffee appointments, and I look on my schedule this morning, a morning, and I look on there and I see, and I'm going to make up a name here, Realtor Lisa.
Yeah.
Oh dear God,
Oh,
she was the
man.
buyer's agent, and she was particularly upset with me, right? And
Oh
I've
my
got the
gosh.
I got the
You're
appointment,
giving
right?
me anxiety. I
Oh,
think
dude,
everybody's
it was
felt
like
this.
the
Oh,
only
dear
reason she must
Lord.
have agreed to this
Oh
is
my
she
gosh.
wants to give me some more. She wants to lay it
She
on me.
wants
Some,
to.
she's not done. She wants to lay it on me some more. I go meet with her,
Yeah.
and she said, "Carl," she spoke first. "Carl, first off, I just got to let you know that I'm impressed that you would have Debbie in your office give me a call to meet with me. It says a lot about your character,
Mm,
and I commend you for it. Right,
mm.
I honor you for it." What I didn't tell her was I had no ideas on the list, and if I'd looked at the list, I'd have taken her off, not because of her, but because of me being embarrassed about it. Right,
Sure.
and we ended up starting work together. In fact, she ended up being one of my best allies ever, and
Wow.
introduced me to a bunch of other agents after that.
Yeah.
And so I think, that thing where people will forgive you, um, it's so true that we
Yeah.
think, well, but not this time. Look, anybody that does look, Lisa has had dozens and dozens of late closing because she's an active agent, right?
Right.
And things happen, right? And sometimes it's the fault of the system, and frankly, sometimes it's the fault of loan, like whatever, it happens, right? Things
Mhm.
happen. And we think that if you're their only late closing, that they've ever had, you're talking to an agent that's not doing anything.
That's right.
Right? It's so it's not that. So look, it goes back to almost Ken Creighton's: make more offers. People will forgive you. Be sincere about the apology. Right? Don't
Sure.
just do a canned, and don't do some cheesy. I'm gonna text you an apology. No, no, no. Get on the freaking phone
Mm,
and say, hey, I totally dropped the ball. I apologize.
that's it.
And yeah,
That
and
goes a
think,
long way.
yeah,
Hmm.
I like that. So anyway, I kind of like that one there. We got that one okay.
I thought it was great. Yep.
All right, this one. Oh, I think. Miss Warwick had two. So number one, people forgive you if you're sincere. Number two, I love this one, man. I wish I'd have known that integrity doesn't have a price tag.
Mm, wow. Wow. Hey, I'll tell you this one right here is that it's such a linchpin, man. When you realize it's not for sale. I'll never forget. I'll tell you a story of mine. I got in the business. I was 25 years old, newly married, dead broke, $250,000 in debt. Four, three houses were in foreclosure, and we were working to pull them out. We had a failed real estate venture with a partner who took a bunch of money and ran. And I'll never forget, Carl, you're sitting here, you're called to the business, you're running. It's like I'm doing what it takes, but every dollar matters. And I'll never forget, I had this one closing and it was like a $3,500 commission. Remember, it was when the EA level one and EA level
Yeah,
two approvals came out. And we didn't really know that that meant there was a rate adjustment. And man, it was like a $3,000 to $4,000 commission. And I just remember every dollar mattered. And I had made a mistake and the only way to fix it was to forego my commission. And I actually had to write a check to close that loan and drove an hour and a half to another city to close it. They never knew. We came back. I kept my mouth shut, chalked it up as an education, and ran because it was the right thing to do. And it's like those are the foundation that those decisions are never easy. Well, that's not true. They're easy, but they still hurt a little bit. I
yeah.
remember that would have been a game changer for us, but you know what? Integrity is not for sale. And I made a mistake. We got to do the right thing and you move on and you will see so much success because of it because your character becomes a cornerstone.
I find another angle of this might be, hey, I don't work on Sundays.
Yeah, like the character, yeah, just like Chick-fil-A. I'm not
Just like
working on
Chick-fil-A.
Sundays. Yeah.
And maybe even if I have a different belief system, I've told my kids, hey, Sunday's family day. Sunday, I'm a dad.
Yeah.
I'm not a loan officer. I'm not a branch manager. I'm not a trainer. I'm a dad. I'm a dad on
Mm,
Sundays.
mm,
I talked to the lovely Mrs. White Honey. I'm a husband on Sundays.
mm.
I'm a husband on Sundays.
Yeah.
In my case, to my maker, I'm a servant on Sundays. I'm a humble servant on Sundays, right? And um, integrity doesn't have a price tag.
Mm. And
So
it's in
integrity,
the little things. It's in the choices first. What's
yeah.
most important?
And I find when we set those things that look, if you've got to work 24/7 to make ends meet, you there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Either A, we're out, we got a spending problem, or B, we're inefficient on our Monday through Friday, or in my case, Monday through Thursday,
Yeah.
working. Like if you got to work more than 32 or even 40, if you got to work more than 40 hours, you have an efficiency problem.
Hmm.
And that's what needs to be looked at.
Wow.
Is you need
That's
somebody to
good.
look at your calendar, somebody look at your schedule
Hmm.
and say, hey, here's where you can save time. Here's some activities you don't need to do. And here's this activity that you just spent 4 hours on. Here's something else you could do, or here's a small little tweak you could do to it where you can get that done in 15 minutes. Like there's a
Mm.
lot of those kinds of things.
Hey, well, and while you just said it, I was thinking, man, our gift to you listeners would go to freedomplanningcall.com. And that's probably one of the greatest gifts when you can have somebody look from the outside in what you're doing. Because sometimes when you're in the middle of it, you're not seeing as clear as somebody who can look outside and say, hey, we just tweak one, two, and three. You'll get 10x performance and results in less time. Freedomplanningcall.com. We'd love to help you with it. We're really gifted and skilled at helping you identify what's effective and not busy. Freedomplanningcall.com. That's so good.
Yeah, good stuff.
Okay,
Um,
what we got? What
let's
else?
do maybe one more.
Okay.
This one,
Hey, and by the way,
uh,
this is going to be a great book. Like you said, you're working on a book. around
Oh,
this
this,
topic. I'm like,
yeah,
man, you're going to write a book and I'm going to have to do the sequel to it. That's
this
really good stuff.
this is going to be this is going to be a good book. So the next one, I wish I'd have known.
Yeah.
What he wrote here, what he gave me was, I wish I'd have known that the best fishing is in my own backyard.
Mm,
The
mm-hmm.
best fishing is in my own backyard. And the context of this was he was saying, hey, I live in, I don't remember the city, but let's just say Greensboro, North Carolina.
Yep.
I just grabbed a city, right? So I live in Greensboro, North Carolina, and I see these loan officers. I need to be licensed in 42 states. So I need to get my license in Utah and Wyoming and
Yep.
Nevada, Florida and Texas and Tennessee and Rhode Island and Massachusetts. It's like, well, have you exhausted all the loans, even in your own city, much less your own county?
Mm.
Right. And so there's
That's so good. That hey,
yeah,
that would save somebody a ton of time right there.
a ton of
How
time.
about how about how about the
But see what
efficiency of
happened.
just my city?
But you don't understand, Steve.
Yeah.
My business is different. That I need to spend all this time getting licensed in Texas
Mm,
also,
mm,
because my business is different, and so I'm
mm.
going to spend all my time and energy. I'm not going to prospect right now because I need to get licensed in Texas first,
Yeah.
and then. But you don't understand, Steve. My business is different. Some I had a borrower last year that left my area here and moved to Lake Charles, Louisiana, and I
Sure.
could have written that loan. So I need to spend the next couple of weeks getting that. You don't understand. My business is different,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
Man, that
That goes back
that
to the efficient versus effective. You do better to hand that loan off and go get 10 more agents in your
in your own
county or
backyard.
city. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Now,
You want
and
to
I
you
get
want to
it.
make a
Some
lot of
people,
money.
yeah,
Hmm.
and some people might live like, look. There's always going to be this rare exception.
Yeah,
Like there's counties in like the desert of Utah. I'm
sure.
thinking of a little town called Hanksville. Hell, there's probably not 200 people in the county,
Yeah.
right? So I get it. You're going to have those just like incredibly rare exceptions, but understand it's incredibly rare exceptions. And there's a great book called Acres of Diamonds. You ever read that book by chance?
No, I've heard of it, but I hadn't read it.
Okay, so the basic synopsis. You don't have to go read the book because I'm going to tell you.
This is the one where the guy went to go look for diamonds and come to find out they were in his own backyard. The
That's right.
richest diamond. Yeah, I've
And
heard the story.
so yeah, he sold his
Sold
farm
everything.
to
Yeah.
get money to go search for a diamond mine.
Yep.
And one of the largest diamond finds in South Africa was found in the farm that he sold in
Mm,
a search for diamonds. So he should have dug. Let's dig here first,
first.
and
Mm,
that's what Tommy Blackburn is saying. Let's dig here first. Let's dominate my town first. Let's dominate
mm,
my county first.
mm,
On an outlier, let's dominate my state first.
yeah.
And then when I'm approaching uh, even a 10% market share, then I can look at somewhere else. For most people, that's an unfathomable number already in
Yeah.
itself. Again, you're going to have those outliers like our friend Jen Conley, who lives in a rural area of Ohio,
Hmm.
where she's focusing in on 3 counties in her area, but it's not 23 states.
Yep.
It's 3 counties. And so backyard fishing,
Mm.
very, very, very,
Good
very
wisdom.
good wisdom.
Hmm.
You want to do one more? Or are we done?
Yeah. Do one more. Let's do one
All right.
more.
Last one. I wish I would have known that persistence out trumps talent.
Mm. Bro, these are
Persistence.
so good.
Yeah.
Oh
This
my
this came from
gosh.
Valerie Clymer.
Oh, she's a part of my group. She's
Oh,
precious. Oh, she's
so
fantastic. That dude
persistence
is so
out
good.
trumps talent.
Yeah.
Can I tell a quick story?
Do it. Well, do it. Yeah.
So there's a guy. I'm looking for his name. I had it written down here. There's a guy. Here it is. There's a guy named Cliff Young. Cliff Young, 61 years old, and he he was a farmer, a
Yep.
sheep herder actually. Cliff Young at 61 years old shows up at this ultra marathon, a running marathon in Australia. Now, this marathon is unlike most, where it's 544 miles. 544 miles. 61 years old. This dude shows up in his overalls and literally work boots. Now you have to understand, this is a very prestigious ultra marathon that he's running. And
Right.
you got guys all over the country. The
Oh yeah.
some of the like the Kenyan runners, are world famous, for their endurance. And so you got these world class people showing up at these things. Average age, I think, was like 29. He's 61 years old, shows up in overalls and work boots for a 544-mile race, and he wins.
Wow.
And how he
Wow.
wins
Yeah.
is he never stopped running. Everybody else, they would run. Like when they started, they took off and they just left him in the dust. Like he was
Sure.
hours behind. But then the first day when they stopped,
He kept
uh,
running.
he kept
Mm.
running.
Wow.
And then he ended up passing them in the middle of the night, maybe just a couple miles. And the next day, they caught up with him, passed him, but didn't get quite as far in front of him. And he
Hmm.
just kept running and passed him again and got a little further past him while they slept. And he
Mm.
just kept on and kept on. So this 61-year-old guy ended up winning a 544-mile, very prestigious, with world champions running against, because his persistence
Mm.
outran his out trumped his running. Because they said he didn't really run; it was more of a shuffle. And now there's actually a running style called the Cliff Young Shuffle.
Hmm.
So he reset the way people run marathon, these ultra marathons. It's more of a shuffle. It's very energy efficient.
He
They said they
wasn't
got
even
it
faster.
because he was chasing the sheep around his farm. Like during a storm, that the sheep would run, and he'd go chase after these sheep to bring them back into the corral. And so his persistence,
Mm.
this 61-year-old man, kicked these 29-year-old young guns, kicked their butt.
Well, and they
Because
were
his
stronger
persistence,
and faster and younger
more
and
talented for sure,
yeah,
more talented
yeah,
runners for
yeah.
sure. But his persistence won him
Mm.
that race. Isn't that a fascinating
Man,
story?
that's a great, great story. Well, and it's encouragement. You don't have to be the best. You just have to show up better than everyone else
Just be
every day.
persistent over
That's
and over
it.
and over.
Persistent. Man, great ones. Recap them for us.
All right. So recap. Number one, Kim Creighton, make more offers. Make more
Hmm.
offers, you'll close more loans. Make more offers, right? Number two was Sherry Warwick, and she had two of them. People will forgive you if you're sincere, and integrity doesn't have a price tag. Good stuff.
Yep.
Next one was Backyard Fishing by Tommy Blackburn. Let's dominate where we are before we go through all the trouble and
Yep.
effort of getting licensed in 43 other states. And our last one from Valerie Clymore, persistence out trumps talent. Just stick with it
Wow.
and make more offers, right? Just stick with it and make more offers.
That's it.
So
Well,
hey,
hey, it's been great episode. Great
and so
episode.
again, Steve, if I if give me, I, I hear what you guys are saying. Help me craft some offers. Can you help me do that?
100% freedomplanningcall.com. Myself, Carl, the team, one of us will jump on. We can help you really look at your current business and see where maybe you can make some more offers and what those offers are so that you know exactly what to say. Freedomplanningcall.com. Freedomplanningcall.com. It's our gift to you. We'd love to have a conversation with you there. So freedomplanningcall.com. Remember this, anything worth doing is worth doing badly. Just get started. See you.